Hola chicos, en este video vamos a hablar de las expresiones con el infinitivo. So in this video we're going to talk about expressions with the infinitive. As the name implies, we'll be working with infinitives, so it's important to think back, what's an infinitive? You might remember some things about infinitives that we've talked about in class. The foremost being, it's the most basic form of a verb. So if we were to translate it, we might say to run, to jump, to swim, to talk, to listen, to pay attention, etc. Those would be some examples in English. In Spanish, we can identify an infinitive by its ending. It's always going to end in AR, ER, or IR. So, if you're trying to find an infinitive, look for those endings. If you see those endings, then think, all right, I know that's an infinitive. Some examples you might be familiar with are hablar, to speak or to talk, escribir, to write, and correr, to run. Today we're going to work on one specific type of expresión con el infinitivo. And that expresión is ir plus a plus an infinitive. This is kind of like a formula we're going to use in order to construct the future tense. Okay? So, when we say ir, we're actually going to use a form of ir. Okay? A, like the to that we've learned, and then we have to have an infinitive. This part is crucial. If you don't have an infinitive, it's not an infinitive phrase, right? Now, call me Captain Obvious, but you're going to forget this. So, remember that I said, if you don't have an infinitive, it's not an infinitive phrase. So, what we're going to do is we're going to conjugate ir, and we're not going to conjugate the infinitive. The message that we're going to communicate with this expression is what you're going to do in the near future. So let's see some examples. I'm going to get a good grade in Spanish class. So I've taken my ir and I've conjugated it for I. Yo voy. I brought down my a, and then I've added my infinitive. Voy a sacar una nota buena en la clase de español. Now, what you're going to be tempted to write is voy a saco una nota buena. But we know that since it's an infinitive expression, we have to have an infinitive. Otherwise, it's not an infinitive expression, right? So let's see a couple more examples. This time, I'm going to use tú. Tú vas a estudiar mucho. So again, I'm just conjugating the ir. I'm bringing down the a. That one you don't really have to do anything to. And then I'm leaving the infinitive in general. You are going to study a lot. So I could say, tú vas a estudiar mucho, yo voy a estudiar mucho, ella va a estudiar mucho. I can change the subject and change this conjugation all I want. But the rest of it's going to stay the same. So we're not going to write vas a estudiar mucho. Because otherwise there's no infinitive. Vamos a escuchar música salsa. We're going to listen to salsa music. Van a terminar su tarea. They're going to finish their homework. So again, we can see we've got some form of ir, we've got an a, and we've got an infinitive to give it meaning. So these are all things that people are going to do. And that's it. Again, it's important to remember, if you don't have an infinitive, it's not an infinitive construction. Good luck.